What is it going to take for you to make this quilt? Well, a big pile of 2.5-inch scraps, or it can be made with a jelly roll. One jelly roll will complete a quilt that is 8 rows long by 6 rows wide. And then you're going to need about 2¼ yards of background fabric, and use a contrasting color.
Hi, I'm Di with Sister Chicks Quilting, and welcome to my channel. You know what? This week has been a crazy week, but I've decided that at my age, just about all my weeks are crazy. So, welcome to my crazy life, right? On Monday and Tuesday, I had no idea what I was going to show you for a video this week. So I just started working on my UFOs. I have a drawer full of UFOs, like I bet you all do. And I have a need for another Scrappy quilt for a presentation that's coming up. So I wanted to get that done. I got in my drawer and I pulled out this Scrappy quilt, partially done, and it's called Arkansas Crossroads. It's made with these 2 blocks, with a 16 patch, and see the cross on this one, and you alternate every other block, and it makes this really cool crossroads thing. That's where it gets its name. For those of you who want to know, this quilt has been out there for a really, really long time. It's an old-fashioned quilt. Jenny Doan has done it. She calls it Goodnight Irene. Lori Holt has done it. She calls it Scrappy Crossroads. So it's been out there. As far as I could tell, the name was Arkansas Crossroads or Scrappy Crossroads. And you know what? I bet there's 5 other names for it. But this is what I wanted to finish up for my trunk. And I wanted to show you about this quilt. I made this a long time ago, and I never finished it. This is a row, this pile. There's 8 blocks in it. This is another row of 8. So I got it out and I started sewing, and I just started putting them together, started counting, and I was a little confused because I always start out with, I was a little confused because when I put a quilt away, I always take notes. This is what I need. This is what I've done. And this is how I want it to look when it's finished. And I pin it to the pile. But all I had was this pile of 2.5-inch blocks in green, in yellow, in red, and blue. So do you know what the primary colors are on the color wheel? Red, yellow, and blue. Those are the primary colors. And then I decided to add green, like this. I'm making the quilt out of these 4 colors, and they're all scrappy. For instance, in this green pile, there's a bazillion different, okay, I'm exaggerating. There's a whole bunch of different patterns in here, but they're all green, right? So I just sat down and I sewed, and I thought, boy, this is really satisfying. This is so much fun. And I sewed for an evening and I got quite a bit done. I was pretty excited. And I thought, well, I better make my notes. So I get out this paper, and these are the notes that I made. I told myself that I have the 16 patch and the X block, and I had 7 complete rows, and I was going to put 9 complete rows on. So I needed this many patch blocks, 16 patch, and this many X blocks. And then I have these pieces in here that look like this. These are the borders, and I thought, I counted the borders and everything. I packaged it all up neat as I could, and I put it away. And when I put it away, guess what I found in the drawer that I didn't even pull out? I had 3 completed rows, and this was my note. So I did have a note. I just totally missed it. Anyway, the quilt is done. All I have to do is put it together. So you're going to get the best of both worlds in this video. I will show you how to put the block together and how I build it. It's going to be a beautiful quilt when it's done. It's an old-fashioned, gorgeous quilt. Have a fun thing to look for in my video. Do you guys watch the Catbird Quilts? Kathy Martin, I think she's so much fun. She contacted me. Well, I actually saw her making this before she contacted me. She made a quilt that I had made up called a no pattern Scrappy quilt. And it's the one with the crisscrosses. Actually, in my Scrappy strip series, it's block number 4. And I thought, hey, she's making my quilt. That's really cool. And the next thing I know, my phone is ringing and it's Kathy. And she said, Di, I think it would be so cool if you were to quilt my quilt. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of that. Let me tell you, she is a fantastic quilter. And putting it on the long arm, it was so square and true. We really enjoyed doing that. But so in the middle of this video, to quote Kathy Martin, I'm going to have a lot to say about her quilt. I think we should start making this block, don't you?
Now, I don't know that you need to be taught how to make a 16 patch block, but I will tell you, so your block lays flat. You want all of your seams pressed in the same directions. And to do that, it does take some putting it together the same way or planning. So what I do is I lay all of my pieces out on a design board, and then I sew this row, this row, this row, this row, and then I piece them together in order. So they turn out and they look like they're done on purpose. This X block is pretty fun to lay out. Now, you make the squares. This is not a 5-inch square, it's a 4.5-inch square. And we're going to use the snowball method on this. So let's put a green here in this corner and a blue here. How about a red across from the blue? You're going to snowball the outside corners, and then a yellow. What you want to do is you want to sew diagonally on this seam, so the corners of every block are snowballed. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, I don't use a rotary cutter. I just snip the corners off like that. And then I take them to the iron, set the seam, and press them. Now that they're pressed, we're going to want to lay them out so we like the looks of them, and this is how we lay them out. And there's your X. So you fold this over, sew these two together, fold this over, and sew these two together, matching, of course, the points or the colored parts. And you know, folks, I have a couple that aren't matched perfectly. I don't have any heartburn over it. When someone looks at the quilt, they're not going to see it. See how that comes together? When I sew this one, I don't even iron them yet. I just nest the center seams. Put a pin in and match these two lines where the colored parts are. And then we'll have a block. And ta-da! There is the X block. It is really that simple, guys. Let me iron this, and then I'm going to take you to the design wall, and I'm going to show you how cute my quilt is going to be. Well, I need to finish a couple of more cross blocks. But what do you think of those colors? Don't they look great? I'm going to take you out into my quilting studio, which is in the garage, and let you see me consult with Kathy Martin from the Catbird Quilts. I show a little bit of the quilting, I trim it, and the best part, oh my gosh, I took some pictures of her quilt. You are going to die when you see it because it's next to a very special quilt. I think you're going to like it. And it's such a fun picture to see them side by side. Without further ado, here you go.
Welcome to the Catbird Quilts. I'm Kathy Martin. Today's video is a quilt story of my completed Scrappy quilt that was inspired by dye of Sister Chick's Quilting. And you know, I have a lot to say about it, so stay with me. So I watched dye from Sister Chicks on YouTube and saw this great video on her no pattern Scrappy quilt, and I loved it. I loved it so much that I wanted to make my own, and so I did. And it's just been really fun and enjoyable, and I don't know, it's just been kind of out of my wheelhouse to make a truly scrappy quilt. So I actually met Di at QuiltCon this past year in 2025. I don't know about you, but I watch YouTube quilters and I always think, I wonder what it would be like to have one of my quilts quilted by a YouTube quilter. Wouldn't that be cool? So I got in touch with Di, and guess what? A YouTube quilter is going to quilt my quilt top, and I want to tell you all about it. But first, I've got to get this quilt top to Di. Di, are you ready for the quilt?
Hey, thanks, Kathy. Got it. Hi, welcome to my long arm studio / garage. You know, I always have to put a disclaimer in about the garage, but hey, life is real, guys. Right?
You have what you have. We make what we have work, right?
We do. I'm here with Kathy Martin, the Catbird Quilts. I have one of her quilts on my long arm. Kathy, I appreciate you agreeing to do this with me. We're going to take you through consultation of putting a quilt together on the long arm with the customer. This is a service I provide with all of my customers. Kathy and I are going to try and do this on the phone today. So
We'll see. I'm not great with technology, so.
neither am I. And I am holding a mic up to the phone so I can catch you. But the first thing I want to do is we're going to take Kathy out of the mix and we're going to aim the phone at the computer and let her pick a design. This is Kathy's quilt. And I think the first thing we're going to do is pick a design. And Kathy specifically asked for, isn't that fun? She specifically asked for flowers in something swirly or twirly or round because the quilt has an awful lot of straight edges. Starting at the top left, which is the batik floral, tell me, just take a look at those and tell me what you think. Are you seeing something you like? I have an opinion, but I want to see what you like.
Well, the first one that jumped out to me is curly twirly.
Uh-huh.
I really like that one. It's
cute,
super,
isn't it?
Yes, it's super cute. That was what I was going to say. It's super cute. I also like, okay, wait, let's see. I do like Sunday and also retro flower. We're comparing Sunday to curly twirly. What are your thoughts about the density of the stitching?
Curly twirly is a little more dense, and it's probably going to be under a half an inch. I think Sunday for spacing would look better.
That was my question, because there's so much white space, literally in this case. There's so
Right.
much white space on the
Right.
quilt.
And I think the different
mhm.
fun designs would be cool in it.
Okay, I'm cool with that, because it's the thing. It's like you want it to have enough density that it looks like it fits with the piecing, but not so dense that it's like busy looking.
Right. So that's it. We've gone ahead and chosen Sunday, and I really like that one.
I do too.
Now, Kathy chose washable wool, and this is going to shrink when you wash it, but it is gorgeous. It gives it a really nice loft. It shows the design well, and my favorite thing, and then it's so light. It's just a beautiful, you guys all know that it's my very favorite. And Kathy wanted to try washable wool. What I'd like to do now is come over here to the thread, and let's pick a color of thread out. Kathy requested gray, a light gray, and we have this one, and to me it's it may be a little too bold.
Okay.
And then we have this gray, and I think this gray might be a little too light, but certainly if you want to stick with gray, I'd stick with that. So let's take this one off. We also thought we might like to look at 3 blues.
I'm glad, because when I filled out the form on the website, which, by the way, the form and the read this before you send a quilt, really super helpful.
Oh,
really,
perfect.
really helpful. Yeah, because I feel like, there were a couple of ones that I was like, well, of course. Well, yeah. And then I got to a couple of like, oh, okay, well, good to know. Wouldn't have known that would be important. But when it got to the thread color, I really wanted to just put a note that's like, I don't have the faintest clue. You're going to have to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that your next thought was blue, because I was like, well, anyway.
Look what else we put in it. Because take a look at the quilt. What do you see? I see
Yellow.
Blue and yellow. And so we have 2 yellows here. One is called cheesecake and the top one is cookie dough. Let's go back to the blues and show you some blues. This first blue that we chose is called Little Boy Blue. Here is how it looks kind of puddled up on the background. But it's really going to show that design. And you'll have 2 designs. You picked a design with a lot of stuff in it. And I think it's going to look fantastic. This might fight with the overall design of the quilt. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So, and by fight with it, you mean it's like you'll see more of the quilting instead of
quilts
and less piecing.
Yeah, but it's going to
Scrappy quilt.
It's a scrappy quilt, and it's going to all work together it'll be beautiful. One thing I forgot to mention, everybody, that this is my quilt pattern. It's the the scrappy quilt without a pattern, which when it's all done, I'm going to show a picture of the finished quilt next to my finished quilt, and it'll be fun to see the 2 of them side by side. So there is that blue. Now this second blue is called Skyward, and it's a really light blue. This is it.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and puddle this on like that, and that's how it looks.
Okay.
It doesn't look as bold as the Little Boy Blue looks.
I see that.
And then this other last blue is called Harbor Sky. And we're going to look at that. Harbor Sky is almost the exact color of some of the blues in your quilt. Well, they're all kind of in there. Here you are. If we're going to go with the blue, my favorite is Harbor Sky because it's between the dark one and a little more than the light one. But so the 2 blues. And then we want to look at this one. This is a yellow, and it's called Cookie Dough. Thank you. This yellow is called Cookie Dough. And I think the yellow looks really cool on here.
I kind of prefer the yellow.
I do like that. Do you mind painting back just a little bit? Because I'm like from seconds.
Michelle's favorite is the Cookie Dough. And the yellows. She likes the yellows on this quilt because this quilt reads blue. There's a lot of blue.
Right, exactly. From a distance. And that's the thing about, yes, it's scrappy, but when you get from a distance, it really looks like that harbor
Harbor
blue that
Sky.
you said.
Mhm.
Harbor Sky.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the yellow. And I like the cheesecake one too, though, honestly.
Okay.
The light one, too.
I'm going to put these two together.
Okay.
Oh, you do like the cheesecake better?
Michelle likes the cheesecake.
Yes. Here they are
Okay,
together.
Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah, I like the cheesecake better. Well, and I like cheesecake better than cookie dough also. So that's fitting.
That's good. And I don't like cookie dough at all. So
Cookies.
Oh,
cookies,
right?
but not the cookie dough. Yeah.
Oh, I can do it all.
Ah,
Honey, I can do it all.
I love it.
There is not a sweet that I have ever found that I do not care for, to be honest. I'm not a big peanut butter fan with sweets, but everything else I'm pretty much there for. I like the cheesecake, and I think it will break up some of the blue, and because it's light, I think it will look lovely.
I think you're
on that
absolutely right, Kathy. I think the cheesecake is definitely going to break up the blue.
Right.
That's going to be a
And I think it will look really pretty on that backing too.
Yes, it will. It's going to go really nice. So Kathy has gone over my form and she's picked out her design, her thread color, her batting, and she followed the design. She made her backing 4 inches bigger all around. She also did a victory lap around her quilt, which is Michelle's over there praising her because this quilt is on the bias and it's going to be stretchy. No, she doesn't, honestly.
What? What's that?
Michelle said, and if you send it to me without the victory lap, I might hate you. So no.
Obviously cut that
Well,
part out.
it's funny that you should mention the victory lap because I often forget to do that, which is, I mean, it's really not a difficult thing.
It's not.
But I did find even I loved making this pattern. It was so fun.
Oh,
And
good.
getting them, I'm trying to get those triangles, but then I got my system and I was good. And as I was laying it out after the quilt top was put together, I looked across and realized, wow, those edges have already stretched just in putting it together. And so I had a little bit of fear of oh great, I'm sending my quilt top to a YouTube quilter. I'm setting myself up for criticism. It's on the bias. By the time it gets to them, it's going to be like a little girl's ruffle dress. And so definitely doing the victory lap was a good reminder of oh, I have a way to kind of protect against this.
Right.
Things in y'all's favor too. So it was good to have that as a reminder
Right.
on the form, and then also just recognizing that bias can be a real pain.
Yes. And the only reason I always remember the victory lap, Kathy, is because I'm a long arm quilter and we lay quilts out every day on our long arm, and you know, it helps when you lay them out that they're square. So I'm just super excited to get this design laid down and taken care of. And I'm going to, Kathy, this is where I say goodbye to you and we get to start quilting. Now we have the machine oiled, cleaned with a new needle in it, which we do for every quilt. And I really appreciate you filling out the online form and trusting me with your possession. I know this is going to a close family member, and I'm super excited to be part of it. And very excited that you've made my pattern. What did I call it? The no pattern Scrappy Quilts?
Yeah. I think so.
I think,
no pattern Scrappy Quilt.
Right. And it's fun to see this, and I can't wait to finish this and lay the two side by side and show you. I better get started.
What do you think? And can you see what I'm doing? I want you to know this is the top. These 8 rows right here are the top of the quilt. Then that means that this is the bottom of the quilt. So I have the quilt on sideways, and this row on the top is one of the sides. So it's 9 blocks long. What I'm doing is putting stacks of the 4.5-inch white blocks. They look like this before, and I put a 1 snowball corner on them. I'm putting them on this quilt so it has its border, and it's the final finish. It's really cool looking, I think. Isn't this fun? While I finish the quilt, here's a few viewers that I ran into these past few weeks. Now, Debbie's a viewer I actually met on a live, and she's moving to Emmett and was in town. We met at Maggie's on Main, and it was so much fun getting to know her. Welcome to Emmett, Debbie. I was editing this video, and the engineer said, let's go on a date. I need to get out of the house. And so look where we ended up here. I'll do a quick pan. And because I needed to pick something up. And when I walked in the door, I met this lovely lady. This is Jennifer. And Jennifer, tell us about yourself.
So I have a YouTube channel, T Rose Quilting, with my daughter who shows off her crochet, and I also make samples for Sally's Back Porch Fabrics in Shoshone, Idaho.
Remember Sally's? I did a live, and I'll put a link to that live down in the video below this if you want to go check it out. Sally has some incredible fabrics, but Jennifer, I'm so excited that you recognized me and said hi. Jennifer watches my channel. I'll start watching Jennifer's now. And again, that channel was T Rose
Quilting, like
T Rose
teacup.
T Rose Quilting. So go check out Jennifer's channel as well as enjoy it. And it's just always fun to run into people you know, isn't it, Jennifer?
It is, yes.
Okay. All right. Bye. Ta-da! I love it. This is so beautiful. And just think, even though it's scrappy, there are only 4 colors in it. The primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and green. I think it's a beautiful work of color and a fun way to organize your scraps. So, 4 colors, 2 blocks, and you get this old-fashioned, beautiful quilt. It's a winner. Now the quilt measures 71 wide by 80 inches long. I showed you how to make the blocks. Super simple. You don't need a pattern for this. Just dig into your scraps and have a blast. Speaking of having a blast, don't forget that the 3 Quilt Amigas is coming up on April 28th through May 2nd. We did just open up a bunch more rooms, so there's plenty of room if you and your friends would like to sign up and come and quilt with us. You know, it's going to be fun. I had a couple of questions about the retreat. Yes, you get to hang out and hobnob with myself and Tracy and April. We are there at the retreat, and we do hang out with you. Secondly, it is in Hamilton, Missouri, and there's plenty of time to shop at Missouri Star Quilt Company. And Angela Walters' quilt shop is just half an hour away. The shopping is great. The company is great. All we need is you, and we'll have a hat trick. Why don't you join us? You'll find all the information at the number 3 quiltamigas.com. Again, 3quiltamigas.com. Read the information about the retreat. The pricing is there. It's a blast. Also, that I'm going to be at QuiltCon in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's February 19th through the 21st or 22nd. Anyway, it's that weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Tracy will be there with me. April is probably coming in on the weekend, which we couldn't do this without April. She just is too sweet to miss. I want to thank all of you who support me on Buy Me a Cup of Herb Tea. I really appreciate it. Sandra Daly, thank you for becoming a monthly subscriber. That is so awesome. Did you get my video I sent you? Cactus Kate, you're my hero. Thank you so much for your donation to my channel. I really appreciate you. And then there's always someone who buys me a cup of herb tea and prefers not to put their name down, and they just sign in as someone. Thank you, someone. You know who you are, and I do appreciate you. I appreciate all of you who watch my channel, and if you like what you see, like this and more quilts to come, I'd love it if you would subscribe, ring the bell, give me a thumbs up, and hang out with me some more. I love quilting with you, and I love your comments. Keep them coming. And until then, bye. Maybe I'll run into you at QuiltCon or my retreat. See you soon.